Good morning, everyone. Hey, welcome to our Crossroads Career Network webinar today. We're grateful you're all here, and I trust you all have your cup of coffee in hand and we can get started. My name is Harry 𝙤𝙗𝙠, and on a volunteer basis, I lead Crossroads Career Network along with many others that contribute their time and energy to the program. I'm grateful that we have many new people on each of these webinars, and I want to make sure everyone is aware of all we offer through Crossroads so that you can take advantage of the resources available to you. It's all free. And so if you have if you have heard much of this before, please bear with me and we'll get to our main presentations this morning. Given the state of COVID right now, we're planning on continuing online only webinars and resources for a while yet, and I hope we can get back to in-person meetings in a few months. The online stuff I'm grateful we're able to do it, but it's not as good as when we can meet in person. And so the sooner the better, but unfortunately we're still in a spot where it's not really viable for us yet. I'm looking forward to our presentation topic today. I know Ann Pryor will have some great insight for you, and I also hope to get some hope and encouragement for you in the pursuit of your next career. We'll get to all that shortly, but first I also want to help you gain some perspective in our current circumstances. You know, in the Bible, in the book of Hebrews, it says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." I know that when life is going easy, it's easy to say we have faith in God because we usually don't see a need to rely on Him. We think we can handle things on our own. It's just when our lives are in turmoil somehow, when we're tentative about the future or we have big challenges in life, it's then that we find out whether we really trust Him or not. When we think we have nothing left that we can do on our own and we're kind of at the end of ourselves and we desperately seek God, that's when we find that He is there. You can experience His work in your life. Not always to get what you want, but when you trust Him, it's irrefutable that He's there and carries you through those challenges and tough times. And once you've experienced that, nothing will shake your faith again. You know that He's real and you know that He's active in your life. You know, while I don't wish tragedy or hardship for anyone, I do hope that each of you might experience Him in a way that leaves no doubt about His work in you. You know, as you go through a job search, it can feel unsettling and challenging at times, but I just encourage you to seek Him and lean into Him, and you'll find that He is there and active. Let me open us in a word of prayer here, and then I'll give you an overview of what's available in Crossroads this month and on an ongoing basis. Lord, I'm grateful, as always, that we can come together, and even if we can only do it virtually and online right now, at least we can learn new things, we can get new encouragement, we can get ideas that move things forward. Lord, you know everybody's needs on here better than we each understand them ourselves. And we just pray that you provide for everyone as they need it. Thank you, Lord, for this time. We pray that it glorifies you, and we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Let me get some slides up on the screen. Since we're always asked, I'll mention now that the recording of this webinar will be posted at the bottom of our seminars page later today. Let me get this screen up here. There we go. Hopefully you're seeing that, but again, welcome. And you know, we've got pictures of people meeting in person and we're not able to do that now, but hopefully it'll be back to that before too long. Just give you an idea of how things are going to roll this morning. We've, as I mentioned, I'll be doing this overview of Crossroads so you know everything that's available to you and the things you can take advantage of. I'm glad to have Cindy Sansness going to be talking about her career transition and what she learned in the process. I know many of you are here because of Ann Pryor, and we're really privileged to have her share this morning. She's got a tremendous amount of expertise, and she will be talking about how to look great and be found on LinkedIn for job search success. And then when she's done, I'll wrap up briefly and we'll be done before 9 o'clock. Kind of a moot point now because we're combining all of our efforts online at the moment, but we do have 3 locations around the Twin Cities where we have different Crossroads groups available to you, where we have the presentations and classes and a number of other things that are going on. So in Eden Prairie at Grace Church, in Woodbury at Woodbury Lutheran Church, and Arden Hills at North Heights Lutheran Church. And so when we do get back to in-person meetings, you can figure out which location is closest to you and take advantage of all the resources we offer. Everything is always posted on our website at mncrossroads.com, and you can find all the details there. And if you haven't been to the website yet or explored around on it, I really encourage you to do that. That's where you can get the most detail of everything we have going on, schedules and events and classes and everything else. I'll explain those in a moment. But we also have a job board on there that we have a number of companies that know what we do. They send us jobs because they want to help, but they also know that we have great people that participate in Crossroads. And so they want to access you. And one of the requirements we have for companies to post positions on our job board is that they include contact name. And so if you are applying, you have somebody you can reach out to ask. And that is a big advantage over applying blindly to most job boards where you have no idea if anybody's involved. But there's resources and a lot more there. So I encourage you to check out the website regularly. On a weekly basis, we have a number of ways you can get plugged in and take advantage of things we have going on with Crossroads. It's all free. These webinars aren't a bait and switch to get you to pay for something else. It's all managed by volunteers on our team, and I encourage you to take advantage of it. So on a weekly basis, every Thursday morning, starting at 9 o'clock, we have our Networking with Grace group, and it's focused networking with a number of other people. It's all on Zoom meetings right now, and it's we're able to share ideas for new job opportunities, leads, contact names. It's led by Wes Roper and Wes Tang, Wes 1 and Wes 2, and they do a tremendous job of helping everybody walk out with something each week. And so if you haven't checked it out yet, I really encourage you to do that. It's highly productive and a great use of your time and a great way to get new contacts and leads for your job search. We have one-on-one coaching available, also online right now with Zoom meetings or phone calls. But if you go to the coaching page on our website, you can fill out a quick form there to request somebody to reach out to you, and they'll find a time for the two of you to meet online or over the phone, and you can talk to them about any aspect you want about your job search, whether it's taking a look at your resume or preparing for an interview or doing mock interview practice, to talk through networking or whatever other questions you have, or if you just need a sounding board for where things are at in your job search. So take advantage of that anytime, and you can do that as often as you like. We have a number of great coaches that respond to those requests, and you can get a chance to talk to multiple people. If you haven't figured out already that this job search process can be an emotional roller coaster, and if you're not prepared for it, or if it's kind of hit you hard after a while, it can be tough. So really encourage you to take advantage of our prayer team. We have a prayer support page on our website, and you can just jot in some notes there and somebody will follow up. But having additional spiritual support and somebody praying for you can make a tremendous difference. And so encourage you to take advantage of that too. And then we have online classes, and this is really, I consider, our meat and potatoes of what we offer through Crossroads. Doing that all by Zoom meetings right now as well. But this is where you can get the most ongoing and in-depth help. It's an 8-week class, and we cover every aspect of a successful job search strategy, starting with attitude and getting in the right frame of mind, because how you present yourself has such a big bearing on how you succeed in your job search or not. And we do some assessments so you can better articulate what makes you unique to an employer and what you bring to the table. We talk a lot throughout the 8 weeks about networking. If you haven't figured out, networking is an important part of a good job search. We talk about how to target companies and resume best practices and how to improve yours and tweak it and perhaps revamp it, but we go quite a bit into that. We talk about interviewing skills, types of different scenarios that you'll come up against in interviews and how to deal with them effectively. And we talk about negotiating and selecting the right job, and there's so much more. And it's really great content and current to the market, and encourage you to take advantage of that. But I think as important as the content, it's just having that weekly get together with other people that are in the same boat, that get what you're going through, place to get some new ideas that you can apply the next week, some encouragement and moral support to kind of get you back to that even keel emotionally and be ready for the following week. So we have, and throughout the 8 weeks, we talk about what's God's perspective of your job search and your life. He cares about a lot more than just what you do on Sunday mornings, and how does that fit into all this? And so we have new classes starting monthly, various times of the week. Encourage you to check out the details on the website and sign up. This is really where you can get the most in-depth help. And if you are struggling with your job search, or if you're new to your job search, this is a great way to get it jump started and get it going productively for yourself. I think for most people, it's the biggest challenge is they're not sure what are the most effective things I can be doing in my job search, and how do I do this on a regular basis or on a daily basis to be productive. And this is where you can get a lot more confidence in what you're doing each day. If you haven't seen it already, I encourage you to check out and sign up for our LinkedIn group, MN Crossroads Career Network. If you put that into the search box, you'll find us. We're actually approaching about 2,000 people in there right now, the vast majority of which are alumni of people that have been through Crossroads, landed in new jobs, but are staying in there and being willing networking contacts at the companies that they're working at now. And so as you're looking for a new position, it's a great resource to find people that might be able to help you at the companies you're at or that you're pursuing. And once you land in a new job, stay in the group and be willing to be available for somebody else. People ask me all the time, how can they give back after they land? This is a terrific way to do it. Help the next people that are looking for a new role by just being willing to be a conduit for them, or provide information or some help in some way. And so check out the LinkedIn group. You can sign up to join there, and then there's constantly new things posted on there, helpful information, notifications of upcoming events. We have recruiters in there that post jobs from their companies. So it's a great resource for you to stay plugged into. I just want to acknowledge that there's nothing that we do with Crossroads that's just done because of 1 or 2 people. We have actually about 43 volunteers right now that contribute in one way or another. And I'm incredibly grateful for them, because it enables us to do all the different things we do with Crossroads, and it's not just a couple of people. And so just want to acknowledge that there's a lot of people behind this. All of them bring different expertise for different things that they contribute, or just help with a number of things that we need done in the background as well. And so just I'm very grateful for the team we have. And finally, if you don't have a church home, I encourage you to check out one of the churches we have that participate with Crossroads: Woodbury Lutheran, North Heights Church in Arden Hills, and Grace Church in Eden Prairie. We're all meeting in person on a limited basis on Sunday mornings, but we also all have the services streaming online, so you can check them that way. So you can check out the websites, and encourage you to check us out sometime and attend. So with that, let me see here, I'll unshare my screen, and I'm looking forward to, I'm sorry, let me get this here. Looking forward to, I'm having a tough time. There we go. Introducing Cindy Sandness. Cindy has gone through her own job transitions and struggled finding the right opportunity at times. She landed in a role not long ago that she considers ideal for her, and she experienced a lot and learned a lot in her job transition. And I'm really glad to have her share some of what she learned here today. Thanks, Cindy. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my journey. It was a 1.5-year journey to this great new job I have. I'd been working at Questar Capital doing graphic design, and the company was sold in March 2019. And so this was actually my 3rd layoff, so I kind of knew what to do next. I did all the usual things. joined networking groups, connected with people in companies I wanted to work with, did one-on-one interviews. It all seemed to be going fine, but I would get opportunities, and it seemed several times I always came in second, which was always disappointing. And then in February of this past year, I had a really great opportunity, really great networking, and I really thought this might be the one. And again, I came in second. And then COVID hit and things just completely dried up. I'm sure each of you has your own experiences with that if you've been in the job search for a little while. In April, I happened to find a free online entrepreneur training class for 30 days, and that really kept me going because the networking was just going nowhere. After that was over in May, I decided I need to do something different because nothing was working. And then I thought, well, why should I network into companies that I wanted to work at when I didn't even know if there's a job available or if they'd be hiring soon? So I started focusing on LinkedIn and Indeed to look for opportunities, and then I would try to connect with people and network into those companies. And that seemed to be going pretty well. And one of the things is I was also open to remote opportunities full-time. So I used LinkedIn's remote feature to search for remote jobs. And but when I applied online, it seemed like everything was going into a big black hole. I hardly heard back from anyone. And I knew there was something off with my resume. So I was also part of the Dislocated Workers Program. And in July, I was with the group called Hired. And then in July, I was looking at the classes they offer, and they offer a master resume development class led by Kathleen Crandall. And so I took that class online, and I followed all the tips she gave, and I revised my resume yet again. And it was fantastic. So if any of you are with Hired, I highly recommend that class. And if you're not with the Dislocated Workers Program, you can specifically ask to connect with Hired. And then Hired also has a bunch of additional classes they offer, which are really great. And Ann Pryor is another one. I've taken both of her LinkedIn classes, which are fantastic. So anyways, after that resume class and redoing my resume, I started getting things going through. I knew my resume was getting through, and so I continued my networking with the jobs that I had applied for online. And I also took the time when I redid my resume to make sure that my LinkedIn profile matched my resume and focus my, and then the biggest point for me was I focused my job search on what I love doing best. So because I do graphic design, I can do graphic design in all kinds of areas. So I was applying for so many different types of jobs that I could do. And I decided to focus on what I love best. So I decided to focus on graphic design, reporting, and data visualization. And it wasn't too long after that that I saw the perfect job listed online as a graphic specialist doing data visualization and reporting with MMR Research in Atlanta. And it was the longest job interview I have ever went through. I had 2 initial great phone calls. I was kind of surprised that they weren't Zoom phone calls. They were just your traditional old phone call. After that, I did a 5-page data visualization test, which I loved doing. It was a lot of fun. And I figured, oh, I'll do this test and then decide who they want to hire. Well, apparently they had 2 great candidates, and they narrowed it down to 2 of us. So they hired each of us to do 1 project from start to finish on a contract basis. So I did my project, and the other person did their project. And so I was really nervous about how it would turn out because I really wanted this job. I just thought I would be the perfect candidate. And one of the things the Lord does to me in my journey is He regularly gives me things, just encouragements along the way. So that morning I had sent off my my final project work in an email. And that morning, I had been listening to, I had TBN running in the background while I was working, and I heard someone share the verse Revelation 3:8. And it says, "I have set before you a wide open door that none can shut." And that was just so encouraging to me. So as I emailed my work, I was just so nervous about it. And then it came into my memory again, this verse from Revelation 3:8, "I have set before you a wide open door that none can shut." And I just felt so much peace come over me. And I told myself, you've got this. And more importantly, God's got this. Well, 2 hours later, I got the phone call that they loved my work and chose me. And I started the job on September 28th. And it's a job I love doing. And that's the best thing. So I guess my kind of recommendations and takeaways from this is, what is your dream job? What do you love doing? What are you passionate about? You probably have many skills that you can do, which, do you apply for everything under the kitchen sink, or focus on what you love doing best, or focus on an area where you're the rock star? And so that's what I did. Once I decided to narrow my focus on what I was looking for, I felt like I was on a journey to get me that next job that I really wanted, rather than applying for everything that I could do and hope something sticks. It turns out to be a really great job, and I love it. And one other thing I want to mention, just because one area of your life, gets back on track, like I love this job that I have, people still have other things that go on in their life that, aren't exactly where you'd want it to be. Right now, I'm displaced from my house because I have a condo, and in my bathroom area, there was a pipe that cracked between myself and my neighbor. So we're both displaced while that's being repaired. And so I'm living with friends, and it's kind of crazy. And I've never had anything like that happen before. And quite often, the Lord gives me songs or things that encourage me. So as I was going through this, and I was about to meet a contractor to talk about the work that needed to be done, because the emergency repairs had already been done. And the Lord gave me this song. It's by 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙙, and it's called "Into the Sea." And the chorus repeats over and over again, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." So I would highly encourage you, if you're going through a rough spot, go to YouTube, look up that song, "Into the Sea" by 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙙. It's gonna be okay. It is gonna be okay, because God, He's got a plan for you. He's known it since the beginning of time. He's known when things will be difficult. He's known when things will be easy. But just remember that it's going to be okay. He promises in Scripture to work all things out for good. So even though you may not be able to see the good at the moment, just trust that it's going to be okay. He's got all things working out for your good. So as you're looking for your next job opportunity, I just want to let you know that I'm sending out a prayer for wide open doors that no one can shut.
Terrific, Cindy. Thank you so much. Appreciate your story and the way you've leaned into God to get some support in that. I'm now really glad to introduce Ann Pryor. Many of you are here today because you know or have heard of Ann Pryor, and for good reason. She's become well known as a top expert on how to build an effective online visibility strategy for your career. And she has expertise across all kinds of platforms online, but particularly on LinkedIn. And she works with senior executives, speaks regularly, and is highly sought after for articles, books, and thought leadership. And we're grateful to have her share some of her knowledge with us here today. Glad to have you join us, Ann, and the next hour is yours.
Thank you, Harry. Thanks, everybody. It's really nice to see you. Cindy, what a beautiful story. How moving. Thank you for the shout out to Kathleen Crandall, to me, to the other people that have helped, and especially to God. Friends, every morning I obviously pray and meditate, and I pray this one prayer that I want to share with you today, to God and to Archangel Raphael. He's the angel of happy meetings. And I say, Angel of happy meetings, lead us by the hand towards those we are waiting for and those who are waiting for us. May all our moments, all their movements be guided by thy light and transfigured by thy joy. So I ask for help in all of my connections each day. Friends, before we get started, I'd like you to pull out a piece of paper and a pencil, please. I'm going to give you some joy work to do, okay? So some joy work. The first piece of joy work is I want you to connect and follow the Minnesota Crosswords LinkedIn group page. The second thing is I want you to connect with me, with Harry, with Cindy. And the third thing is I want you to think about what you love best, Cindy's advice. And I'm going to be talking about that as well today. My slides are on my LinkedIn profile. And so you can pick those until later tomorrow afternoon. So for 24 hours. Many of you know that I am honored to be an internationally recognized LinkedIn trainer. I'm the top 1% of all 722 million people looked at. I've trained more than 200,000 people, and I've written more than 20,000 branded LinkedIn profiles. I help companies generate millions of dollars in revenue through my sales navigator training and help people find great jobs. I'm also a recruiter for small businesses, and I have created a brand called Loveitude. It means love and gratitude inspired by God. And I'm a soul painter. Recently, I appeared on the Hallmark Channel. I just want to back up for a minute and give you a quick overview of my path. Because what I've realized in the past 15 years of having my own business and working with job seekers, people in transition, life changers, that I notice paths and I connect dots. So I started my first real job at Valleyfair. For 10 years, I was at Valleyfair selling company picnics and discount ticket programs in 5 states in Canada. I traveled a lot. Now, what I was really doing is creating meaningful memories and connections for families and employees so they can increase productivity and become more unified in their approach to doing their work. After Valleyfair, I was hired away by Knott's Camp Snoopy, which was Knott's Berry Farm, in Mall of America, and I got to work with Charles Schultz. It was an amazing job and a stunning interview process, which I'll touch on a little bit. When I was at Mall of America Camp Snoopy, I was there for 4 years during the grand opening phase. And I'm a marketer and a connector and a partnership, a connector. That's what I do. I moved to Life Touch, which is now owned by Shutterfly, after 4 years of being at the park. And the reason is because the job got too operational for me. So when Cindy talks about specializing and focusing, I'm a marketer and a grower and a connector, and I don't want to learn how to ride the rides or call on vendors to pick up garbage and that kind of stuff. That's not my gig. And so I chose to leave. I went to Life Touch and back into marketing, where I worked with Disney and Universal Studios and Peanuts characters. And I created a licensing line that was the first ever. And after 10 years, I realized I was not growing. Life Touch is an ESOP company, and our skills were not growing. And I knew I needed to change because I was golden handcuffed. Some of you know what I'm talking about. So I chose to step out and I went to Carlson Companies, where I was the director of innovation and wellness. The solution that I created and led a team of 250 people around the world was purchased by Steve Case. This is who the man is on the right. Steve Case founded AOL. He sold AOL to Time Warner, and he created Revolution Health. The healthcare solution that I created was a technology solution that he is using as his platform. So the path is not straight, but there is a continuity in my career. After leaving Carlson Companies, I got laid off after Steve bought the solution. They no longer needed me. I went to Pat Berg at CPI. She owned Career Partners International Twin Cities, and now Maureen Reifus owns it, and I work there on Wednesdays as an executive career coach. Pat Berg asked me 2 questions that changed the direction of my life. And so I ask you these 2 questions today, if you could write them down. The first question is this: what are people coming to you for? I was building huge technology solutions and people were coming to me for spiritual development and career coaching questions. I was in the wrong job. The second question she asked me was, are you self-aware? I didn't even know what she meant, and I was 47 years old. I've been on a self-awareness quest for the last 13 years. And so I'm telling you that it may be time for you to stop and reflect on your values, who you are, what people are coming to you for, what you want to contribute to the world. Hello from my office. This is my office in Minnetonka. This is where I'm coming to you from. My art studio is in the front of me. I'd like to show it to you sometime. Today, I want to talk about 5 things. I'm going to give you an overview of some stats. I want to talk about how to look great to get noticed. I'm going to talk about how to connect meaningfully, how you should influence, and what your impact is when you influence, and how to navigate LinkedIn strategically. So I would like you to take away at least 3 action items today. And my goal is to shift the way you're thinking about how you're using LinkedIn, to stop and notice the nuances to LinkedIn, something you hadn't considered before, and to adjust how you're showing up, how you're using these tools, much like Cindy said in her opening. So that's why I want your joy work or your actions. I would also like you to bring out your phone, please, and I would like you to bring up your LinkedIn app, okay? So those are the tools that I'd like you to have right now. Friends, LinkedIn is really 3 things. It's an online identity tool. It's your professional profile, it's your education, it's your volunteer experiences and causes, it's your certifications, it's the organizations that you belong to, it's your projects, it's your story. The second thing is it's your Rolodex, it's your network, all your contacts. And honestly, I would like you to get to 500 connections on your way to 5,000 connections. If you're in sales, we know that you exceed your goal if you have 5,000 connections or more. And the third thing, it's your knowledge management or your thought leadership. My clients are executives all over the world, and their thought leadership is already out there for the most part, but they haven't brought it to life. So I'd like you to be thinking about your thought leadership. What's your methodology? What's your disciplined practice and approach to doing what it is that you do every day? Quick stats. Okay, there's 722 million professionals on LinkedIn, 170 industries. 40% of the people that use LinkedIn are on LinkedIn daily. Millennials, there are 2 billion millennials, 87 million are on LinkedIn, and 11 million are now decision makers. So if you don't know how to communicate with millennials, it's time for us to figure this out. 81% of us belong to groups. There's a new setup for groups if you have paid premium. It's awesome. They brought back that you can search for people, companies, schools, titles, etc. It's for premium at this time. More than 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn recruiters tools, their talent solutions, and they cost like $14,000 to $40,000 a year. 4 out of 5 members of LinkedIn drive the decisions. So these are the decision makers on LinkedIn. 4.7 million jobs are posted on LinkedIn today. This is a big darn deal because I've been tracking LinkedIn statistics for the past 45 weeks since COVID hit. We were at 6.8 million jobs then. Then we went down to less than 100,000 jobs, and now we're back up to 4.7 million jobs. I am thrilled. There's about 12,000 new jobs posted in Minneapolis each week, and about 17,000 remote jobs posted each week on LinkedIn. I'm going to give you a bunch of big tips today, but one in particular that I'll share in a little bit. Listen, LinkedIn profiles with photos get 21 times more views and 36 times more messages. Now, in the last week, I could have just cried. 3 clients came in, they hadn't checked their settings recently, they added a new picture, and what happened was their picture got turned off to only their connections. So their head was not showing up. So friends, you gotta check those settings, which I'm gonna share with you in a minute. Now I'd like to talk to you about how to look great to get noticed. And I'm gonna start with what happened to me. Back in 2008, I really got in the game, and Erin Keller invited me to LinkedIn for the first time. Within a very short amount of time, I got a connection request from this woman, Susan Bennett. Does anyone know who she is? She's the voice of Siri. Now, I don't like Siri. Siri can't hear me, can't understand what I'm saying, and I didn't want to connect with her. However, I started building a relationship with her. Who are you? How does Siri work? And you know what? I learned something very interesting. She was hired as a voiceover talent from a very small startup firm. And she said, Ann, for hours, I spent just saying one word at a time. And I didn't know what they were going to do with it. And what they did with it is eventually that company was sold to Apple. Apple used her voice then to combine through artificial intelligence, which became Siri. And now Susan is my friend. Okay, she found me on LinkedIn. In 2013, Google Glass came out. Anybody remember Google Glass? Well, Google found me on LinkedIn, and I was one of 1,300 Google Glass explorers. For a year, I wore those glasses on my head. Here's the deal. I got picked up by cops twice because you can't wear them when you drive. And my clients in medical device wouldn't let me in the manufacturing facility because when I winked, it automatically uploaded to Google Plus and my Facebook account. I sneezed, it did the same thing. And you see that little glass in front of my eye? Now I have a wandering eye because that's where I got my email messages and I got my news every day. Guess what? They're not selling Google Glass anymore. What I did do with the glasses is I donated them to the University of Minnesota School of Nursing so they could use them for artificial intelligence for training. Here's what really happened that hooked me on LinkedIn. In about 2011, I got contacted by this man named Pete. Pete is in London. Pete sends me a message inside of LinkedIn and he said, hey, Ann, my name is Pete. I'm from London, originally from Minneapolis. You and I both went to St. Mary's University. Hey, by the way, do you know that you're the top 2 LinkedIn expert in the world, according to artificial intelligence? And I took a step back and I thought, who is this guy? And I emailed him back through LinkedIn and I said, hey, Pete, are you for real? Let's talk. Pete flew to Minneapolis over the holidays and way back then, we began a relationship and I'm using artificial intelligence tools behind the scenes and I'm still one of the top 5 LinkedIn trainers according to artificial intelligence methodologies. You guys, you can't make this stuff up. People are looking for you. You got to be found. And the way I write profiles, I get people found. This is an action item. Please take this. You could take a picture of it if you want, or you could write down this URL. I want you to get a read on your brand. And that means I want you to go to www.linkedin.com/sales/SSI. This is a social selling index score. I want you to see what your dashboard is within the industry that you're targeting. I'm 1% in many industries. I change my industries every week based on what I'm chasing. Did you hear what I said? I change my industry. I change my LinkedIn profile every week. Sundays at 3:30, I call it changing my oil. This assessment tells me what I need to do to continue to grow my network, and it will do the same thing for you. Hey, listen, when I teach Sales Navigator to sales teams, we grade them on their social selling index. If it maintains or goes up every week, then the company will continue to pay for the account. If it doesn't, then they have to pay for the $79 account. So I'm showing you everything that I do, I measure, monitor, and adjust. This is an example of what my brand looks like. This is the artificial intelligence tool I use to assess my clients. My brand is valued at $2 million. That's great, but let's put it in perspective. Beyonce's one tweet is $2 million, okay? But this is what I do to make sure that I'm showing up. Option number 2, I want you to Google yourself. So please go to Google, Bing, Yahoo, go to other tools that you use, Firefox, and type in your name, first name and last name. Then type first name and last name all together. Then type first name and last name author, or type first name and last name operations. See what shows up, and I want you to monitor what is showing up. Do you have old pictures in here that you need to take down? Do you have pictures in here that your photographer branded that you don't want in here anymore? Okay, so start looking at your content online and go clean it up. Now, it's really hard to vacuum stuff up, and you can't sweep it under the rug. So don't click on junk. In other words, you have to build other tools like YouTube tools or Google tools or other websites, SlideShare, or your Facebook or your Twitter, your Instagram, your Pinterest, to get up higher in searches. The next action, joy work, I want you to do is set up a Google alert. You go to Google, you type in alerts. It's to monitor the web for interesting new content. I want you to search for your name and set up an alert. I want you to set up alerts on your genre. Maybe it's the digital data like Cindy talked about. Maybe you want to be a board member at a certain kind of a group. Please set up Google Alerts. I have 6 Google Alerts set up that I get every morning at 6 o'clock a.m. I read the Google Alerts, and at 7 o'clock a.m. when I sit down at my computer, I might share the Google Alerts. I might comment on them. I might connect with the person who wrote the Google Alert. You can also set a Google Alert for Operations Jobs Minneapolis or top 50 thought leaders in IoT, etc. You get the gist. Friends, the next joy work, I want you to search for yourself on LinkedIn. So many of you have 2 or 3 profiles that you need to dump, and you haven't cleaned those up. They're confusing to people. So just search your name and make sure all of your names are yours, or meaning that you only have 1 profile. All right. This is where a lot of people fall down. They don't know their keywords. They're not targeted and focused. I want you as a joy work to go out and look at 20 job descriptions. I would like you to make a spreadsheet or a table with 6 columns. And the first column is going to be the title. The second column is going to be the company. The third column is going to be the industry. The fourth column is going to be technical skills. The fifth column is going to be interpersonal skills. The sixth column is going to be outlier keywords, okay? So, do you have the right keywords in your LinkedIn profile to tell who you are? I am a future mapper. I have been trained in future mapping. I'm one of 100 in the world trained by Masanori Kanda. Future mapping comes up very high in my tag searches. You guys, I don't make money future mapping. It's a tool that I use. So I adjusted my profile to make sure that I've got the right keywords in my profile that are showing up higher in searches. Okay, now I'm going to move to the dark side. It's called dark social. Dark social is stuff that's going on underneath, behind the scenes. You need to watch for bots. So here's my dear friend, Lenny Newman. Lenny is one of my top referrals. George Murray's on the call. He's a second top referral. Deb is on the call. She's a third top referral. Okay, Earl. I've got many friends that refer me great business, which I'm grateful for. So I'm always on the lookout for you guys, okay, to see, are you doing things correctly? Did you change something that is going to mess up your search, like Kat Breed Byers did the other day? You know that she changed her name to Kat Breed. She's Catherine Byers Breed. When I searched for her, she did not show up. I quickly IM'd her and said, Kat, you're not showing up in searches. You have to change this, this, this. You put the stuff in the wrong spots, okay? So Lenny and I connect daily, and I said, Lenny, you got botized. Someone took over his profile and they usurped his picture, they usurped his information. So very quickly, I was able to get inside Lenny's profile because we had his phone number in here. Note to self, put your cell phone number in your LinkedIn profile and make it primary so we could change the password and get back into your account. If you put your cell phone number in your LinkedIn profile, before you do that, Joy Work, I want you to go to do not call list for mobile phones. Put your mobile phone number on that do not call list. Also, if your folks have a landline like mine do, they're 90 years old in Redwood Falls, Minnesota. I'm off to see them when I'm done here. Please put their phone number on the do not call list and you'll reduce the robocalls. Okay, the most important first thing that you can do is set the settings on LinkedIn. The settings are underneath your tiny head, you guys. The tiny head is in this navigation bar. When you click the mini me tiny head, you go to settings and privacy. There's a new settings and privacy format. It looks like this. Okay, I want you to start with account preferences, then sign in, visibility, communications, data, and advertising preferences. These are extremely important. One of the most important things that you can do is under data privacy, get a copy of your data. So when I used to have coffee meetings with people, I would actually bring my thick data. I've got 20,000 first degree connections. I put them in an Excel spreadsheet in first name, last name, company name, order, in alphabetized, so that I could help people right away because I have mature eyes and I can't see small phones, right, when I'm in coffee meetings. So get a copy of your data is really important. The other thing is some of you still haven't set your URL. This is how to set your URL. You go to the edit and you click the pencil and you own your name. Now, a lot of your names are already taken. I want first name hyphen last name or first name last name or first name last name hyphen MBA, for instance. I want you to make sure all of these toggles are checked. This is the problem that my clients had. They got a new photo, but they did not check that they got a new photo and they wanted to show. So sometimes LinkedIn gremlins eat the toggles. It's a very, very technical term. Gremlins eat the toggles. So every Sunday at 3:30, I come back in and I check my gremlins. I check these settings. The other thing I want you to notice is on the right-hand side of your profile, there's 10 people that show up that say people also viewed. Now, from a recruiter's perspective, I love to see this. However, I don't want you to advertise your competition on your billboard. And I call LinkedIn a flashing digital billboard. So you can turn this off. And I want you to do that in the settings. The other thing I like to do is I like to sneak, creep, peek, and research by putting my profile in the private mode when I don't look good yet. Or before you interview with somebody and you don't know who you know that they know or where they went to school or what groups they're in or some of their technical skills or you haven't read their recommendations. Be in the private mode, look at them, and then make some adjustments to your profile, then show your name and headline and look back at them. So friends, I'm toggling back and forth all the time based on who I'm looking at for what reason. When I'm not on LinkedIn and I don't have paid service, I show my name and headline so I can see the most recent last 5 people who have looked at me. Friends, be careful. I don't want you to blast stuff out on LinkedIn if you're not ready. So when you're changing your profile, don't share profile edits unless you want people to know, like Cindy, that you got a new job or something has changed significantly. Otherwise, it's just a lot of noise. Okay. This is what your profile top card area looks like. I want to show you there's 2 things that maybe you don't know that we recruiters use. Number 1, you see the word more. When you click the word more, you can save your profile to a PDF. I do this once a month. I want to see what my profile looks like. I can spell check it easier. I also use Grammarly so I can spell check my profile. But I want to see how it looks to recruiters. I want to see what my contact information says, which is in the address area of the top card. I want to see my branded websites here. I want to see the top skills that I'm portraying. My certifications, my patents, my recommendations, etc., are all on here. So we recruiters share your profile in a PDF format when we don't have your resume. The second thing I want you to notice is in that same area under more, you can actually build a resume. So let's say today you want to apply for a vice president of operations. You can say vice president of operations, and LinkedIn will show you the keywords you currently have in vice president of operations and the words you should have that you don't. So I use this tool to help me before I apply for a job. Now, I don't want you to use this resume to apply for a job, and here's why. The format of LinkedIn does not match an applicant tracking system, so you will not get through the applicant tracking system. So don't apply with a PDF or this format. Don't apply with a table format, and make sure that your resume is search engine optimizable and has the right keywords before you apply for a job. The second thing is I want to show you how to get noticed here. So this is my client, Fred. Branding matters. Fred is in leadership positions. He works for a large corporation that he's proud of. He's a human resources executive. Now, what I want you to do is put 2 job titles that you're seeking when you're out of work, because we recruiters search for you, and this line shows up first in search. Then here he's a board member, and here is his brand statement. He builds global HR end-to-end talent strategies to deliver competitive advantage. So what is it that you do? Who are you? And to whom do you do it for? And make sure that the visual image behind your head looks like that. So I know you like sunsets and maybe like to golf, but that does not represent your brand. So what does represent your brand that you want to share? Notice this is where he currently works. Notice this is where he went to school. This is where he lives. These are how many connections he has. I want you to notice something. Fred and I are first degree friends. His connections are not showing up in blue, and that's because we've turned his connections down. He's in HR. So if you notice the 500 plus is in blue, that means their connections are open for you to gold mine dive. Notice the contact information. This is where you can put the address, 3 websites, your phone number, your email address. You can put your birthday in here. Friends, be careful with your birthday. I want you to put your birthday in 2 days before your birthday and take it out the day after your birthday. I've gotten compromised on LinkedIn, and I know it was because of the birthday situation. Bots can find my birthday, then they can find your social. Please be careful with that. Here's another example of a branded profile. She's the chair, Global Business Solutions at Mayo Clinic. This is employer branded. She's a board director for leading healthcare and technology companies. She was for one, and now this is aspirational, and she's nailed it. So to me, LinkedIn is an aspirational tool as well as a historical document. You see, I'm a futurist and a strategist in my StrengthsFinders themes. So I'm always way far ahead, and I want to know how to get there easily and effortlessly. I also want you to know that the first 40 words are the most important on a LinkedIn profile. Why? Because it's all that we see. So make sure that you nail the first 40 words and pop your email address in here so we recruiters can find you easy and effortlessly. Once again, her connections are closed. Let me share with you Diane. Diane is a client of mine. I've known her now for about 7 years. Diane came to me and she was a pharmaceutical sales representative, and she wanted to be a PMP. So she got money from dislocated workers. She came in through Hired. I taught her LinkedIn, and she got a great job. Now, 3 years later, she comes back and says, Ann, I am transitioned out. I want a new opportunity. The first thing I said is, what did you learn? What did you learn? in your last job that is new, unique, and helpful in the marketplace where you can add value? She did not hesitate. She said, value-based care. I said, what the heck is value-based care? She told me. I said, show me what it is. She brought me an Excel spreadsheet and she showed me the methodology that she put together. We rebuilt her profile based on value-based care. Here's what we wrote: value-based care for this, this, this. Within 3 hours, Cerner found her on LinkedIn. She is now in the Boston area managing the value-based care solutions for Cerner. Okay, what did you just realize that I said? You just realized there are key words. You realized you had new learnings that you haven't maybe put in your profile, right? Okay, so let me give you another example. Some of you on this call are executives. This is Olivier. He's my client out of Madrid. He was a former Warner Brothers executive. I used to work in the theme park business, so I have many clients in this industry. He transitioned out of his position as a C-level executive with Warner, formerly Procter. And so we put that on his profile. Former Warner Brothers executive, right? Board member. And so that gave us credibility because now he's selling back into the entertainment industry with his new cloud technology. So I'm just showing you that particular example as a strategy. In the About section, we get 2,600 characters now. That's about 450 words. Please tell a story and make it meaningful. Here's an example of a student. This is my niece, and you see how easy this is to read. Why? Because we put headers, we put dots, and we tell a story. This is an example of a client of mine in New York that was found 3 weeks after I rebuilt her profile. I'm showing these examples because I'm a boomer and we tend to write more dense. The younger people want quick, fast, less words. And so we need to adapt based on who's looking at our profile and what it is we want them to know about us. One of the things that's always annoying to me is when you talk too much about yourself and your characteristics from your point of view. Now, that's helpful that you know yourself. It's not helpful to me in that I don't know what you can do for me, meaning a recruiter or a hiring manager or an HR person. So please put on the hat of who's looking at your profile and will hire you and what you can do. Hey, the best resume I've ever seen is Leonardo da Vinci's. Google it sometime. It's, hey, Queen, if you need somebody to stop the army from coming over the mountain, I can help. Hey, King, if you need somebody to stop the army from coming under the sea, I can help. In other words, how can you help in a situation that's happening right now? I'm going to give you a few examples in just a second. All right, friends, you've seen this. LinkedIn just created this open to work opportunity. Now, some of you have this green sash around your head. At first, I thought that was kind of cool. And then I put out a poll on LinkedIn to 200 of the top recruiters. And I asked them, do you like this? Would you call this person? What do you think of this? And the response that I got was, I would not be the first to call that person because they look too desperate. And the people that I would want to see that on would be college students or people that are new to the workforce, okay? So I recommend you take off the green slash, you put open to work, you make sure you have 5 titles of jobs that you want based on the companies that you're targeting, and you pull from the drop-down box because we recruiters can see this, and you get pushed to our inbox when you have the right keywords here. And you make it only open to recruiters. However, I'd like you to put the hashtag open to work, maybe in your summary area, maybe in the placeholder position. Some of you that are freelancers, you may have providing services like Harry has and like I have. We get this providing services when we have paid premium. We put our services here so people can see we have these services. Notice my 500 connections are blue. It's because my 20,000 connections are open for you to gold mine dive. Okay, so if you're a first degree connection, you can see my first and second degree connections. Here is where the more is, that I got the PDF and the resume. And here, add profile section, are a whole bunch of new goodies. This is where projects, publications, courses, honors and awards, patents, organizations, all this information is. So please go to this new area of LinkedIn. Okay, so I just talked about adding your titles and jobs. All right, friends, I want to tell you that skills are really, really critical. And as a recruiter, I post positions. It costs me $50 a day. It costs me $300 a week. It could cost me $900 for 3 months. It depends. LinkedIn has different packages. But when I post a job on LinkedIn, here's what I noticed. Within 10 minutes, 99 LinkedIn profiles are pushed to my inbox. Did you hear that? I am a noticer. I'm a master noticer. I noticed 2 things on every one of those 99 profiles. Number one, they had the exact same title in the current position title that I was seeking. You heard that. In the current experience position, what title are you seeking? It's critical. It needs to be pulled from the drop-down box. It's a direct match with what we're looking for. The second thing I noticed was this. The people that had the most endorsements for the skills that I was seeking in the job description got pushed to me. So you just heard me say, make sure you know the title of the job that you're seeking and make sure you know the skills and get endorsements for those skills. And the way you get endorsements is to give. And I want the 3 skills that you want to highlight most to be featured in the top section of the skills. In other words, you can move these around. You can have 50 skills, and I want you to have 45 at all times. I want 45 because every Sunday when I come in here, I add 5 new skills. Here's the placeholder position that I was talking about, okay? This is one of the most important things I'm going to teach you today. When clients come to me and their past job is turned to past, meaning their job ended in July of 2019, for instance, and they have nothing in the current slot, you're not going to show up in searches. It's the game, okay? And the game is this. We recruiters pull from this current line to find titles that are similar to the titles that we're seeking to hire against. So you need a current placeholder position. And the way to do that is to go find the titles of the job that you're seeking, put a title in here. In the company line, you're not working, put the titles and the industries that you're seeking. In the description, say that you're available for title, in this industry, this industry, this industry, where you can do your brand statement. And here's how to contact you. This is critical, friends. So there's keywords that you need to pop in here. And you could say on furlough, seeking to do this and this and this during post-COVID recovery for these kinds of organizations. Okay, I'm going to scroll on. There's this area called the new featured media area, and I'm just going to do a call out to Harry. Harry, you don't use this featured area, and you write a lot of really great articles. And so I'm going to recommend, Harry, that you bring up your articles in the featured section. Friends, this is where this PowerPoint is today. It's on Ann Pryor's featured section. I put new featured stuff on my LinkedIn profile every week based on who I'm talking to and what information I want to share. I have backgrounds here. I have free cards that you can send to people in need. I have PowerPoint presentations. I have the best hashtags to use and how many followers. I have what is Boolean search and how do you use it. I have many, many things in the featured section that make it easy. What can you put in this featured section? Cindy, for instance, has beautiful creative on those data, pretty pictures that she creates. She can strip out all the proprietary information and show her beautiful work here. Okay, you can also add media underneath your past jobs. So underneath your current or past jobs, here's examples of my articles, my PowerPoint presentations, my 𝙤𝙗𝙬𝙚 content that I'm selling on Zazzle, etc. So think about content that you want to bring up and then pop it in here. Under that accomplishments area, I want you to notice that projects I use as my speaking, because there's no speakers area on LinkedIn. So George, you just heard me. So I put keynote speaker and then what the association is, or facilitator, or award-winning author, okay? And then I put the content. Why am I doing this? Because as a recruiter and an HR person, we're looking for projects that match what you've done that you can do for me without giving away any secret sauce or proprietary information. In addition, in the project area, when you type it in, you can type creator, and creator is actually a teammate. So you can pull up your teammates, and what we're looking for when we look at the projects, are you a collaborative leader? Can you manage cross-culturally, cross-functionally, cross-globally, cross-ethnically? Can you manage people that are diverse? And do you give shout outs to them? So please notice the projects and please put in 3 projects that represent your brand and what you want to do going forward. Cindy was a perfect example. She wanted to focus on the data stuff and make it pretty. And so the projects were about the data to make it pretty, okay? Publications that you've been in or that you've written, certifications that you have, and there's much more you can add. If you've been on boards, add the boards. Okay, friends, recommendations are really important. The first 6 words are the most important. So I'm going to give you an example of 2. This is a very good one. Dr. So-and-so brings a terrific blend of knowledge and problem solving. He has expert knowledge in clinical informatics, ... This one is not quite as good. I've had the pleasure of working with this person for on a number of projects. Do you see the difference? The first 6 words are only what we read. So nail somebody's brand in the first 6 words. Also, I want you to give 3 recommendations. That's a piece of joy work. So reach out to someone. Say, Harry, I loved working with you. You're a master communicator. I so appreciated the fact that you brought that employee to us that has stayed 5 years now. You really saw the right fit. You understand our values, okay? That's a good recommendation for Harry. Ask Harry if he would be comfortable with that recommendation, or if he would be comfortable giving you a recommendation and that you've written a couple of sentences for him to edit just to give him a jump start. And then what can you do for him? Okay. I'm going to move to the next section. I've got a few questions in the chat. Okay. And I'm just, how do you manage multiple job titles? I'm going to assume that they're all in the same sort of genre. It could be a public relations manager, could be a communications manager, could be a marketing manager, right? So what I like you to do is in the title of the current placeholder position, you could choose just one because you know you want to work at a certain company and that's what they call them. And that job is available. So you could put that title in, or you could put in those 3 titles in the current title line. Then you don't get to pull from the drop-down box. But down underneath in the description, you can put all the titles that you're seeking, okay? So add those titles in the jobs that you're seeking. Okay, the 6 columns, all right? The 6 columns. So let me just say their title, I'm writing it in the search box, their company, their industry, their technical skills, their interpersonal skills, they are outlier skills, okay? Outlier skills. So that's what I'm looking for in that table. All right, friends, I'm going to move on to creating connections. Let me give you the big picture. I'm a strategist, and if you don't have a strategy, you shouldn't be looking for a job yet. That's the way I feel. Why? Because you waste a lot of time. So here's what happened with LinkedIn. This is Reid Hoffman. He founded LinkedIn in 2002. You guys, he was working at PayPal right before he founded LinkedIn. And PayPal hired him for one reason, to launch PayPal in Japan, to grow PayPal. So he didn't know anybody in Japan. So it's just like you looking for a job. So you want to work at a certain company, but you don't know anybody. So he started with his first degree friend, Steve, his roommate from Stanford. Hey, Steve, you know anybody in Japan? No, but my girlfriend Susie might. You haven't met her yet. I'm going to introduce you to her. She's a second degree connection. Reid met Susie. Susie introduced Reid to Ken. Ken lives in Japan. Because of Ken, they were able to get PayPal into Japan, and eBay ended up buying it for 1.5 billion bucks. Okay. Now, Reid's out of work, but he's rich. So he gets his buddies together. They call themselves the PayPal Mafia, and they were going to start up organizations, but nobody in his network was doing that at the time. So he sat back and he noticed, how did I get there? And he realized the value of the girlfriend, the second degree connection. Friends, in doing this work for 15 years, I'm going to guarantee you something. 99% of the time, you're going to get a job based on a second degree connection. That means I want you to invite 4 new people to LinkedIn every day. Because the more people you move from second to first degree connection, the more connections that you have. He started LinkedIn to get inside the Rolodex of his friends' friends. I want you to continue to grow your network. Let me give you an example of what happened to me. This is Madeline Island. I wanted to go to Madeline Island, but I'm an intuitive feeler. I think I don't need a map, right? It took me 8 hours to get to Madeline Island. It's 4.5-hour drive. How long is it taking you to find a job when you don't have a roadmap? So here's what I want you to see. I have a roadmap. I call it my hub strategy. I'd like you to either take out a piece of paper and write these 5 Olympic rings on it, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile and you can see the Olympic rings. The top 3 Olympic rings, I want you to put industries that you're interested in. The bottom 2, outlier industries. So do you remember when Cindy said, I decided to focus on what I love? One of the hubs should be what you love. So this is an example of a hub strategy for one of my clients that was sick of doing the work that he was doing in financial services, and he really wanted to focus on music. So here's the deal with the hubs. I want you to start thinking about the industries that you want that match your values. Then I want you to follow 40 companies in each of these industries, 40 companies on LinkedIn. And then I want you to connect with 2 hiring managers in each of those companies. Then I want you to connect with 20 recruiters in each of these hubs. So now you have 400 hiring managers and 100 recruiters. That's 500 people that can hire you. And you're following 200 companies and you're setting up job alerts for those 200 companies. In other words, you're being seen and you're being found by the people that need to see you and find you. And you better have done your research about these companies to know their values and yours and how they match. So once again, 5 industries. The industries could also be characteristics. For instance, women-owned businesses, fast growth companies, social justice companies, B Corps. So they don't just have to be an industry, they can be a characteristic or a segment of a company. And the best places to find these are where? The Business Journal, right? Publications. So this is my hub strategy. All right. I also have a hot air balloon approach. And what I've realized with my clients is they're focused too much on one dimension, the ant. When you're looking down and you're only focused on what you're sniffing out and the same group of people that you've hung around with before and doing the same thing that you have and traveling the same path, it's not helpful anymore. I put my clients in a hot air balloon. You can see the reflection down. You can see 8,000 feet above the sky. You can see 30,000 feet above the sky. Here's what happened because of it. I was working with a physician. She came to me and she said, Ann, I don't like my work anymore. I said, you're a doctor. Why don't you like your work anymore? She said, I don't want to work with sick people. I said, I thought that's what you signed up for. I said, what did you realize that you want to do? She said, I want to help people stay well instead of help sick people get well. I said, okay, that makes sense. Now, I see that you've got an Apple Watch. Do you like technology? She said, yes. I said, what do you use it for? She said, monitor my wellness plan, monitor my kids' wellness plan. I said, well, you're a physician that likes technology and you're working as a doc in a hospital right now. What if I could refer you to my friends at Google and Apple? What would you do? She said, well, I would want to research opportunities. I would want to know about more about the technology. Today, friends, she's a medical director at an early stage technology company and she absolutely loves it. Okay, what is it you love? Let me give you another example. Last week, I had a client who has been an architect and she's been a teacher. So I said, what if we could combine those two things now with COVID-19 and you could think about how you could rebuild schools based on what we're learning. I put her in a hot air balloon. I said, I want you to go away for 3 days in a hot air balloon. This is a metaphor, right? And I want you to notice. Friends, you can't notice and do at the same time. So I put my clients on a hot air balloon. I want you to go do your research, set up Google Alerts, go talk to people that you used to work with at different architect firms, talk to teachers, talk to parents, find out what the problems are. Then I want you to start writing about them on LinkedIn. I hope you're following me. I hope you're nodding. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm asking you to shift. I'm asking you to stop being ants. Yesterday, I had a guy who used to be in IT application for universities. He said, I just can't find a job locally. I said, let's look at this differently. High school and college students need you badly right now. You understand how to interface with all this technology that's sort of a mess. Why can't you figure out how to help these high school systems with their technology issues? He made one phone call to a guy. He's got a part-time gig now with the help center in organizing the systems. Okay, I'm just gonna, any questions in the chat? No, okay, not about this. Okay, I would like to know if this helped you shift or think about anything differently, friends. Because now I'd like to ask you this question. Have you gone back to your friends that you knew, loved, trusted? They knew you, loved you, trusted you, where you've added value in the past. And have you told them that you were open to opportunities and wanted their advice and insights? If you haven't, it's time to do that. I have a list of top 33 people that are my peeps that I go to whenever I need help, whenever I want advice, and I want to know how I can support their success. If you haven't, you need that advisory board. Remember that physician I was just telling you about? Well, one of the easiest things to do is to go to the alumni page, like your college page on LinkedIn. You go to the alumni or the people, and then you find who can hire you. And in this case, this is where my physician found her friends from Harvard that are at Amazon and at different early stage companies. She was able to network with those companies and they're the ones that brought her into the organization. So you just heard me say, go find people at the companies, search the alumni, and then connect. What I want to really accentuate is the fact that I want you to always write a personalized message. When you write a personalized message to someone, you're 99% more likely to get accepted in their network. So the strategy that I use is, hi, Ted. I see we're both connected to Lenny, and I really appreciated that article that you just wrote about job search. I'd love to connect with you and follow your insights. How can I help you? Stay well, my new friend, Anne. Phone number, Twitter handle, website underneath, okay? So that's what I do, and connect with them, and I get a 99.9% connection rate. All right, friends, do you see this featured section? I've already mentioned it, but I want to call it out because I show how to connect with recruiters to get results. I've written a blog post, and it's in the smiley face right there that you can go look at. Could everybody please take out their phones right now? So please bring out your phones. Please bring up your LinkedIn app. So there's your LinkedIn app. Okay. And you see in the search bar at the very top, there's like a little square wiggly. Please click on the little square wiggly. Here is your scan. This is where you can roll over my QR code that you see right here on the screen. When you roll over my QR code, hold on, it will pop up my LinkedIn profile, okay? When it pops up my LinkedIn profile, I want you to click the 3 little dots on the side and quickly write me a personal message because I want you to connect with me. Okay, I want you to also know that when you go back to your scan, you can get your QR code, my QR code. Here's your QR code that you can save to your photos, that you can put on business cards, networking profiles, email signatures, etc. Okay, so this is a QR code that people can immediately read to connect with you. So that is something fairly new on LinkedIn. Okay, so let's see if I've got any questions. Okay, under public join, can you clarify? Okay, your public profiles, going to connect. When you see that join to connect, just get in your LinkedIn account. They want you to open another window. Just ignore that and get into your LinkedIn account. Okay, let me see if there's another question. It's too fuzzy, you can't scan it. Okay, that's great. If you get in close and far away, you can, but if you're on a small screen, you can't. No problem. All right, but now you know how to do it. I'd like you to go back to your phone, your app. I'd like you to click X out of that. Let's go back to the very bottom of your phone, and it says My Network. Okay, so 20 people have just invited me to LinkedIn. And now when you see this blue head, please click the blue head. Here's where you can add contacts. Here's where you can scan your QR code. So I'm just showing you the things that you can do by using your phone, and there's many more. Now I'm going to move to influencing, and I've only got a few minutes left. I want to talk for a minute about your brand. As you're looking at my screen, there are 4 quadrants of a brand. There's your personal life, who you are, where you live, your hobbies, your interests, your education, your volunteer experiences. It's your professional life, your past jobs, your skills, your subject matter expertise, your thought leadership. And then there's your legacy. Your legacy is what you want to be remembered for. So these are the quadrants of a brand. And when you talk about your brand, what are you an expert in? You can sign up for Kathleen Crandall's branding class, and she will help you go through the process. These are the questions that I ask. What value do you bring to an organization? This is a question that Marcia Ballinger asks when she's interviewing you. What do people come to you for is the question that turned my life around by Pat Berg. I continually ask my clients, what are your keywords? How do you want to be found? What are those titles? And then I ask my clients, who do you want to find you? Because if you don't know the titles of the hiring managers and what they care about, you've got some research to do. How do you want to be known, and how do you want to be remembered? Okay, so some of us that are in legacy, we are asking these questions. This man changed my life. His name is Dr. Clayton Christensen. He is a leading innovator in management systems, a Harvard professor. He wrote the front end of innovation, Innovator's Dilemma, the Healthcare Innovator's Dilemma. I met him in 2006. Unfortunately, or fortunately, he's now in heaven. He died of cancer in January, 67 years old. The book that I'm recommending is Competing Against Luck. And another one, How Will You Measure Your Life? These are phenomenal books. And a big question he asks is this: what do they hire you for? What one thing do they hire you for? Cindy nailed it. So the more focused you are on what you can solve for these organizations based on what problem they have, you connect the dots more quickly. When you post, friends, I have a strategy I call theme it and scream it. To whom are you speaking, and what are you going to say that adds value? And if it doesn't add value, don't say it, okay? So the first strategy is be helpful, add value. That would be education and information content. The second one is promotion of others. And the third one is humble self-promotion. Please be humble in your self-promotion. Some of us can be too obnoxious. I get sick of seeing myself, right? I want other people to promote me instead of me promoting myself. You guys understand that. I've blocked about 14 people that over promote. The best times and days to post are Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. You can take a picture of this screen or you can see it on my profile. Here's how you post. Don't post until you know what to post. I have a variety of thought leadership articles, about 70 of them. And these thought leadership articles are always there for you to resource. Here's an example of humble self-promotion. Anne Rushy promoted about Women International Leadership Day. She tagged a whole bunch of people. She got many hits because she tagged so many of her friends. A tag is an @ sign in front of somebody's name. You get more hits with that @ sign in tagging people. Friends, this is a tip. I want you to follow at least 5 hashtags. A hashtag is a # hissing a word. I've written a post about the top hashtags. Hashtag, you can file hashtags in the big cloud on LinkedIn. You can see all the people posting about hashtags in this particular genre. Follow these hashtags. You can follow the leaders, if you will. In addition, what I do is I type in the search box, let's say epigenomics. I'm speaking to epigenomics fellows when I'm done with us today. I went to epigenomics content. I could quickly see the experts and the companies talking about epigenomics. This is another way where you can find and research information on LinkedIn that perhaps you hadn't thought about. Okay, friends, there's 2 new things on LinkedIn. When you want to do a message on LinkedIn, you can now take a quick video. You can add a photo. You can share that you're hiring. Okay, this is when you post. The second thing is now when you, on your profile, there's stories. This is a story video, it's 20 seconds. I don't want to see people walking their dog and showing me what kind of coffee cup they're drinking, okay? I want to see information that adds value, and you better look good. Now, this is where it shows up, which is on the top of your phone in the, it's in the, on your phone in the home section, right here at the top of your phone. This is how you can start a 20-second video that automatically goes live. It's like Instagram video. So be careful, be ready, be smart, look great, okay? When you do post videos, you get a 900% view increase. Friends, there's a tool that I use to curate all my content. It's called slideshare.net. Slideshare.net is the tool where I learn, where people upload their content, and it's like my big refrigerator in the sky. SlideShare used to be owned by LinkedIn. They just divested it. It's still a great tool, still connected to LinkedIn. So please pay attention to slideshare.net. In addition, use LinkedIn Learning. You know that lynda.com is free through Hennepin and Dakota libraries. Go get a library card online, and then you can take lynda.com courses for free. They're exactly the same as LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning costs 29 bucks a month, unless you have paid premium. Congratulate people. I read the Business Journal every day. I get publications. I congratulate people when I see them online. Okay, now I want to talk about navigating LinkedIn. And we're at the end of our time, right? Okay, so let me just go live here very quickly. I want to show you one thing that I want to leave you with, and that is this. When you are searching for jobs, okay, let's say I want to be a project manager. I want to be a project manager. I'll take in any location at this time. When you're a project manager and the information shows up, which mine is still working here, it says date posted. Friends, I want you to apply the first day the job is posted. I want you to do your research, update your resume, add keywords to your LinkedIn, find somebody that can refer you. I had a client that called me and said, Ann, can you introduce me to this hiring manager? I said, how long's the job been posted? He said 30 days. I said, let me check with my contact to see if the job's been filled. My contact said, Ann, I'm sorry, we've got 3 candidates already in the running. I will take a call with your friend, but the job is already being filled. So friends, look at, in the past 24 hours, there's 3,500 project manager jobs that have been posted. This is critical. Recruiters in companies are now being bonused on quick to hire, okay? So I've been a hiring manager my whole life, and the first people in get the jobs because we only have 5 job slots. So this is very important. One other thing I want you to notice is that I can find remote jobs very quickly. I just stick in my cursor in the search box, click the word enter, and I now see all the jobs posted on LinkedIn. When I see all the jobs posted on LinkedIn and they show up, I can click the word jobs. There's 4.7 million jobs posted on LinkedIn. These are the jobs, the date is posted today, and I can go see any remote jobs. They have remote or virtual in their title. Guys, there's 7,000 remote jobs on LinkedIn. So as I wrap up today, and I'm going back to my presentation, what's next? I want you to make sure that you set up your schedule. Stay organized, because if you don't, you'll waste a lot of time like I did. 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn is all I want. The rest of the time you should be connecting with people that are relevant. Invite 4 people a day. Create that hub strategy. Join groups. Add value to people. Like, comment, and share. Connect with me. Okay, what 3 actions are you going to do today, friends? In the chat, somebody put an action. Okay, should you, somebody said, thanks for sharing. Regarding connecting with people that look like bots, I don't connect with them. I click manage all and it says message. I message them and I say, hey, Ted, thanks for the invitation to connect. May I ask, what did you have in mind that I can support you with today? Be well, my new friend. If I don't hear from them in 3 weeks, I ignore them. If I do hear from them and they want to sell me something, I ignore them. Okay, good. Let's see. Anything else? Follow 200 companies. Good. Somebody else. Connect with 4 people a day. Somebody else. Do my hubs. Great. Anybody else want to share? Okay, friends. I was most recently on the Hallmark channel. They found me on LinkedIn with my 𝙤𝙧𝙚 𝙂𝙧𝙚. Friends, anything is possible, okay? Anything is possible. Risa, my dear friend and business partner, Risa Kazmierski, exceptional career coach and resume writer, has a new book coming out called When Paradise Speaks. It's the story of how our after-death communication with God and 𝙤𝙧𝙚 came to life. I'm now speaking on Life Force, bringing your mind, body, and spirit to work. And I'm painting when I do it. And that is where I'm noticing and we're showing up. Friends, thank you for your time and attention today. I believe in you. I'm here to help and support you. We need your gifts, and you were made for this time. Thank you very much.
Terrific. Ann, thanks so much. And I took a bunch of notes and a lot of rapid fire information. And so we had a couple of questions that came up about how they can review this. And so it will be posted on our on the bottom of the seminars page of our website. I'll have it up by the end of the day. And so you can watch it over and over again and pick out more and more information out of it. A lot of great tools and information to help you become much more effective with your LinkedIn profile. Thanks to each of our contributors today, and thank you for watching. Again, the webinar will be posted online. You can review it there as well as other previous webinars. You'll receive an email tomorrow with links to many of the things we talked about, but be sure to sign up for the 8-week Zoom classes coming up. I actually started a class on Tuesday, and we just had the first one. If you still want to jump in on that one, we meet Tuesday afternoons at 3:30. You can find the details on the website and sign up there. We have networking every Thursday morning. I really encourage you to take advantage of that. It's where you can really get plugged in with others to get leads and contacts and information that'll help in your job search on a regular basis, one-on-one coaching help, and prayer support. Our next webinar will feature Dale Henry, and you don't want to miss that. Dale is tremendous at helping you identify and develop your strengths. And if you struggle to describe what makes you unique and what you bring to a job that others might not, be sure to attend this webinar. Dale calls himself the diamond cutter, and he's terrific as well as really entertaining. He's got a great sense of humor and very engaging to listen to as well. And so really encourage you to check that out. That'll be on Thursday morning, December 3rd. And you can find the details and pre-register on the seminars page of our website. I hope this was worthwhile for you today, and best wishes on your search. We look forward to having you back. Better yet, look forward to having you land a job and you don't have to come back as soon as possible, but we'll see you soon. Take care.